Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
This is a catastrophe.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
That's what I wished for when I blew out my candle.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
The floor is yours.
Welcome in! Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Raising Cane studio downtown in the capital city on this Wednesday. Means we're brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. About half the work week in the rearview mirror. Appreciate you hanging out with us on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Got Jordan Kitchens and Cassie Spazzali back there on the ones and twos. Let's talk LSU depth chart on the defensive side of the football. Exiting spring, we'll do that in 15 minutes. It's What If Wednesday. Highly encourage your participation in the Bayou 4 chat or on Twitter at HuntPalmer88. Just hit me up there. Dr. Chris Bankhead from Oxford is going to jump aboard to talk a little bit about the term injury prone, because that's what you're hearing a lot about the Saints' first round pick, and it's something that obviously was discussed with Garrett Nussmeier entering his draft process as well. So we'll talk to Dr. Bankhead about that coming up in 45 minutes. Koki Riley covers the LSU baseball team. He was in Starkville over the weekend. He was there last night. He'll chat with us at 2 o'clock. SEC baseball power rankings are 90 minutes away, so plenty to do on this Wednesday. Let's crank it up the way we do every day with our opening drive.
Welcome to the big league.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive. Presented by Fabry Chevrolet GMC in St. Francisville.
So there were some layers to last night at the box. There was the first inning and top of the second. That was one layer. And then there was the rest of the game. That was another layer. And then there was Jay Johnson in the post game. That was kind of a third layer. And I am, again, not here to start to suggest that this team's on the precipice of turning things around, or this was a monumental victory over Southeastern. Just light conversation here. You start the game with Reagan Ricken on the mound. You're in the middle of really focusing on getting your freshman development. You're starting 4 of them every day in your position group, and you're sending a freshman out there on Tuesday to start the game. You're going to kind of give him a little bit of rope, and so how does he answer that call? Well, he walks the first hitter on 5 pitches, and then he gives up a chopping infield single. And then, after a mound visit, he hits the 3-hole hitter. So he has loaded the bases without getting an out, and they took him out of the game. That's just not even close to good enough. And it's puzzling, because I feel comfortable suggesting that Reagan Ricken doesn't go out there in bullpens and just spray the ball all over the place. But these guys, a number of them, not just a freshman problem, not just a starting pitching problem, a lot of them get out there and just cannot throw it over the plate. The most fundamental aspect of this sport, just controlling the strike zone. Couldn't do it. So Lockenmeyer comes in, gets a sac fly, gets out of it. Okay. They only got one. It wasn't a work of art, but they only got one. And then you come back in the bottom of the first inning and get a couple. Cerna with a screaming single. Curiel smokes a double. He moves up on a wild pitch. Kate Arambidi punches a single through the shift. And, all right, you've settled things down. It's now 2-1, and you move on to the second inning. And Lockenmeyer goes back out, and he walks the leadoff guy on 4 pitches. Gets a couple strikeouts. That's good. And then gives up a single. And then Perry, the slugger from Southeastern, their best hitter, hits the scoreboard. So it's 4-2. It's 4-2, and this is just how LSU's played in the midweek all year. Struggling to assert themselves against lesser teams. It's 4-2, and you're in a dogfight. And from that point on, the bottom of the second all the way through the ninth, LSU played quality baseball. The offense was very good. You saw Curiel go deep with a home run. You saw more good at-bats from Braun. You saw a couple of hits from Ruckert. William Patrick got asked to put down a couple of bunts. He did that. You saw solid pitching. Now, it takes Zach Cowan and Gavin Guidry, 2 fourth-year players, to come out there and throw the ball over the plate, but they did that, and they hung zeros against Southeastern. You weren't credited with an error. I don't know if that was necessarily indicative of exactly how LSU played defensively, but I'll say this. Jack Ruckert made a couple nice plays at second base. Tanner Reeves fielded a one-hop shot over at third that LSU's kicked around a little bit this year. Mason Braun made a catch diving in right field. You did some good things on defense. You moved the baseball. You didn't strike out a lot. You hit a home run. You hit some doubles. Some young guys chipped in. Like, it was pretty good baseball for the last 7.5 innings. I don't have a lot of complaints about that. So that's a good thing. And a lot of it is spearheaded by these younger players. As I mentioned, Braun had a hit and an RBI. Cerna had a hit and an RBI. Kate Beatty, 2 hits, including an RBI. He also drew a walk. You saw Jack Ruckert with a 2-for-3 night. He scored 3 times. William Patrick, 2 RBIs, 2 bunts that he got down. You saw Patrick put a bunt down and Ruckert scored from second base. It took a bad throw from the first baseman, but that's the point of the play. You put the pressure on the defense doesn't come through, and you get the run. Like, it was good offensively, and when you got the veterans in there to pitch, it looked like a functional baseball game. It looked like LSU midweek games should look. And so that was the second layer to this thing. The third layer to this was actually in the postgame. And it's something that the beat writers there picked up on and asked Jay Johnson about it. And he was, again, pretty forthcoming. And this is echoing what he said to us, me and Koki, on Saturday. We were the 2 LSU media members that were there, and it echoes what he said on Sunday. But I'll read you the quotes that Jay Johnson had, and you get a sense of, like, where he is right now. They asked why Josh Simpson wasn't coaching first base. And Josh Simpson has coached first base all year. Mark Wanico was coaching first. And they were basically asking, like, is he okay? And Jay's like, yeah, he's recruiting. The quote is, and I quote Jay here, he was out recruiting today. I don't like doing that, but we're at a point where we need to do that. I held off. I was considering doing it with him and Coach Jordan last week and decided not to, which was the right decision. Simpson needed to go cover some ground today and tomorrow, so he's out of town recruiting. So, and keep in mind, this is not new. Paul Maneri very often had Javi Sanchez and Will Davis on the road in midweek games. Davis less so when he became the third base coach. But, like, he oftentimes had guys on the road in the midweek at that time. At that time, there was no transfer portal. The only way you got players was high school recruiting, and guys, they were recruiting during the season, evaluating guys during the season all the time. This is not a new thing, but it's not something Jay Johnson has done this year, and it's not something he's done a lot of in his time at LSU, but he did that over Tuesday. And he continued with this quote, I've never been in a position like this. Even in the Mountain West, you had the Mountain West tournament as double elimination. My first year at Nevada, we would have had to win the tournament to get in. But every other year, we've been in position to be in the NCAA tournament. And that's not really the case as we sit here today. He said that. Now, he was very, very intentional in suggesting there is more time. And he's not giving up. But he is being realistic. And I think there's probably 70% of LSU fans that would hear that quote and go, good. You better go recruit. You better take seriously the future of the program because this team's not good enough. And there's probably 30% that go, oh, you're quitting on the team? And like, he's not quitting on the team. He's very clear about this. And if you watch Jay Johnson, and I talked to him after every game, not individually, but Koki was there. Koki and I talked to him after every game over the weekend. He's not taking the losses any better. He's not quitting. He's not just punting the season and making sure that he's got high school recruits. He's coaching these guys. But he is also being realistic with where the team is. The team currently is 6-15 in the league, has a road trip going to a top 5 team in the country next week, and the odds that LSU gets an at-large bid into the NCAA tournament are slim and none. He knows that. He's going to coach these guys incredibly hard on Friday. They had a long practice yesterday pregame and came out and played very well. And you are seeing some of these younger guys play well. And Jay said, we need to figure out where we're headed with some guys. And since I've inserted them, meaning the young players, or we inserted those guys, we've scored 8 runs in 5 consecutive games. We look like our team offensively now. And I would agree with that. LSU scored 46 runs on 53 hits over the last 5 games. That's over 10 hits a game. That's almost 10 runs a game. You had 11 doubles and 9 homers over that stretch. Mason Braun and Omar Cerna had huge weekends in Starkville. We covered that yesterday. Jack Ruckert had a nice day last night. William Patrick is coming along, and they're starting Marcos Paz. He said yesterday in the postgame that Paz is scheduled to start a game this weekend. He hesitated to go when that would be because they don't know what Case and Evans' status is for this weekend. Maybe he can pitch. Maybe he can start. Maybe he has to hold until Sunday. Paz and Schmidt will probably start one game, and Evans may start another. They may bullpen another. But Paz is one of the freshmen that he wants to get an extended look at this point in the season. But he went back to the recruiting piece, and this is looking at the future of the program, not really looking at Tuesday. He said, I want to do better in the draft this year. We can't fight guys getting $3 million in the fourth round, but this is a good high school class, a lot of guys that can make some impact. We're going to have 6 or 7 guys drafted off this team, maybe 8, but I would probably say 6 would be my guess right now. So you're filling some of that. There are some seniors obviously moving along, so it's kind of a turnover year from us. He's talking about into next year. You're turning over a significant part of your roster. That's very obvious. You're not going to have Curiel. You're not going to have Jake Brown. You're probably not going to have Mino. You're not going to have Simpson or Dardar or York or Caraway. You're going to be down a lot of your position group. Chris Stanfield won't be back. So you've got to fill those spots. And Jay knows that that transfer portal can be tricky. So he feels like he's got a high school class that may have the next Curiel, that may have the next Braun, that may have the next Cerna. Stephen Milam helped 2 years ago as a true freshman. Jared Jones helped as a true freshman. You might have that next guy. You got to make sure you get them through the draft. So they're making they're making a point to go visit these kids, lay the foundation out, and I think probably start recruiting them against the draft at this point because they're already signed on the dotted line. So this is what he's focusing on right now. He's coaching the team, but he's managing the program. This is the last quote I'll give is we don't feel good about our record and where we're at in the immediate in the 2026 season, but it's not over yet. There's still a lot of baseball to be played, and we're going to make the most of it. I'm proud of the guys Tuesday night. That was a long bus ride home after 3 gut punches where the offense, frankly, did its job and the pitching and defense did not. We win as a team. We lose as a team. I was very interested to see how we showed up tonight, meaning Tuesday, and I couldn't be happier. So it was a nice day for LSU against Southeastern. You won last midweek, too, and it didn't matter because you got trucked in 9 straight conference games. But your coach understands the situation. He's not being stubborn. He's not pouting. He's coaching. He's made a decision. We're going with these young guys, and they're playing better. And we're looking at this freshman class for next year and doing the best we can to get as many of those guys through the draft as possible. Because they lost 8 guys out of the draft class last year to the professional ranks. And that, I mean, I thought they did okay because they got some guys through. I thought it was huge to get Cerna through. I thought it was huge to get Paz through. I thought it was important to get Braun and Ricken through, even though I didn't think they were as big a risks. I thought those were important gets, but there were 8 other guys. And I talked to Jay Johnson after the draft to write a story for LouisianaSports.net, and I could tell in his voice that he was uncomfortable with the way that went. And that's not necessarily a reflection on this team because you don't want to start. I mean, they're starting 4 freshmen right now. You don't want to start 6 freshmen. Injuries have impacted things. Obviously, you didn't consider Jake Brown being out of the lineup, Chris Stanfield being out of the lineup, but he knew that we let some guys get away there. And that doesn't necessarily come home to roost in 2026. It does in 2027. So you've got to make sure you're developing players that are ready to go next year. That's what he's doing with these 4 freshmen that are playing every day, getting those guys as many bats as possible so they're ready for league play next year and don't have to ramp up. Aaron Beatty got some seasoning last year. You see the year that he's having, and you got to hope you get some freshmen, and then you're going to have to go in the transfer portal and find some offensive players and certainly some pitching as well. But there's certainly attention on that aspect of the program right this second. They're coaching to win games right now. They're going to try to beat South Carolina 3 times this weekend. But you can see we're playing young guys. We're sending our coach recruiting on a Tuesday. We're trying to get in front of as many guys with the draft as possible. They're managing the program as well as this current roster. It's important that he does that, and he certainly understands that at this point. So LSU beats Southeastern 12-4 last night. Now they turn their attention to South Carolina. It'll start on Friday afternoon at 6:30 from the box. Wednesday show is brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. We'll come back, talk a little football. What's the defensive depth chart look like? I'll give you my projected starters next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC, FabryChevrolet.com. FabryChevrolet.com is the website. Go see him, Highway 61 in St. Francisville. Such a short drive from Baton Rouge, even shorter drive from Zachary, Baker, Scotlandville, even over there in Point Capee if you're in Ventress or New Roads, or certainly in the Felicianas. Hop, skip, and a jump. Highway 61, Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Fabry family's been at this for over 30 years in our community. They've got an amazing reputation because they take their customer care so seriously. So go by and see great deals. You can read about them online. Summertime. Vacation's coming up. Get you behind the wheel of a new ride. Fabry Chevrolet GMC, FabryChevrolet.com.
Every Raising Cane's chicken finger is marinated, battered by hand, and cooked to order to perfection. We don't have heat lamps, because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the new 25 Jeep Grand Cherokee with $15,000 off MSRP.
Plus the 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. If you're battling an insurance company because of a wreck not your fault and they're not calling you back or being fair, whether you hire us at all, give us a call, 272-5555, or email LockeMeredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. You have nothing to lose.
Hello, I'm Collins Meredith. If you've been injured on the job, you likely have a workers' compensation claim, but you may also have a tort claim which opens up significant recovery rights not normally available for a work injury. If this is you, call us or come see us at Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Love telling you about Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge, swingeasygcbr.com. They're on Segan at Perkins. Such a cool spot in Baton Rouge. It's time for people to start playing a lot of golf. Spring is here. The weather is warm. So if you want to work on your game or have some fun playing golf, Swing Easy is a great place to do it. They've got individual bays with great seating options, got a television in there. You can crank the tunes, and that may be to just hit some balls on the quote-unquote driving range on the simulator, which can give you great feedback, or hang out with friends and tee it up at Pebble Beach. Go where they play that April tournament every year and give out the jacket. They got that course right there on the simulator. You can card a score, you hit your tee shots, you hit your putts. You can take a mulligan if you need to. You can take 50 mulligans if you need to. It's just a great place to go hang out and play golf. If you have not tried golf on the simulator just yet, go do it at Swing Easy Golf Club. I'm not here to tell you that it's exactly the same as playing 18 holes outside. It's not, but it's a great alternative. It's just something different. It can be quicker, it can be more comfortable, it can be more inclusive, it can be more forgiving for sure, especially if you're a beginner for the game. So go check them out at Swing Easy Golf Club. They're on Segan at Perkins. They're online at swingeasygcbr.com. All right, chugging along here on a Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. We're brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. They're online at builtbyrenaissance.com. We're wrapping up spring, and LSU's workouts are in the rearview mirror. It's all eyes on summer workouts now. But I want to go back and look through the depth chart as I see it. I did this yesterday on the offensive side, and I want to do the same disclaimer that I did yesterday and say, look, it's spring. This is my opinion. They didn't tackle anybody. That's especially important when you're thinking about defenses, right? But just based on what I saw, what I know, here's how I think LSU shakes out defensively. This is a group that comes back under Blake Baker looking to take another step. Like last year, you finished 5th in the SEC in scoring defense and 6th in total defense. That's not elite. LSU's defense was not great last year. It just was not great. They could not stop Vanderbilt. They could not stop Texas A&M. They had their issues in some other games, but they definitely took a step forward from the year prior, and they're 8 steps ahead of where they were 2 years ago before Baker got here, right? So you're just hoping for another step in the right direction. If you can go from 5th in the SEC in scoring and 6th in total to, 3rd and 4th, 2nd and 3rd in those, that all of a sudden is an elite defense. And so where does it start? Well, it starts up front. And I will be honest with you. I have my questions. I would not say concerns. I would say questions about LSU's defensive front. Not concerns, questions. I don't have a lot of questions about Prince Willimanmielen. He's one of the ends. He had 9 sacks last year. He's done it in the Southeastern Conference. He's an older player. He's big. He's physical. He's got all the tools. I don't have a lot of questions about him. Jordan Ross is going to start on the other side. He's an immense talent, no doubt. But you will hear me say this 30 times between now and kickoff against Clemson. Jordan Ross, to me, is the Tennessee Vol with minimal production, not the 5-star recruit. He's the Tennessee Vol with minimal production, not the 5-star recruit. Now, the 5-star recruit comes with the measurables. But I want the production, and it's not there yet. Now, he's going to start. Gabriel Relaford getting hurt opened that door to where there's not really a discussion. I think Relaford could have pushed for a starting role on this team. Ross has got that job now. And I saw some good flashes from him in the spring. I saw a couple reps where he got back there and would have had a sack. Again, not tackling the quarterback. But some reason for optimism, but hasn't done it in 2 years in Knoxville. So those are your two guys on the edges. I think Dylan Carpenter had a nice spring. That's a guy that you look at as well. Damian Shanklin did some things that you like. I think that Prince Willimanmielen and Jordan Ross are the edges. The interior defensive line is a spot on this roster that I have the least conviction in projecting. It's right there with wide receiver, where you have options. They did a lot of substituting, and I'm not 100% sure. I'm 100% on the next two things. We'll get to linebacker and safety. Got that licked. No questions. Interior defensive line, I do. My gut tells me that one of the starting jobs on the interior defensive line for LSU is going to Deuce Gerald's. True freshman, not the highest rated defensive lineman in this class. Richard Anderson, Lamar Brown are those guys. Even Trenton Henderson got some more love than him in other places. But Gerald's came in, early enrollee, reasonable size for his age. He's not a 300-pounder by any stretch of the imagination. He's going to play in the 260s, 270s. But showed quickness, burst, get off, ability to shed blocks. Like, they moved him around. I went out in Tiger Stadium on one of the Saturdays we were there, and they had him on the edge in a dime type situation. I think they just are looking at ways to get him involved. I don't think they're looking at ways to use his skill set. Like, how do we get this guy on the field? It's like, we're going to play this guy a lot. Let's see all the things he can do. I think he's going to be one of the starters. I don't have a ton of conviction on the other one. McKinley, Blockton, Stephylan Green, all older players, all with Power 4 experience. Of course, McKinley at LSU, Blockton at Auburn, Stephylan Green at Clemson. All of them are big, are physical. I don't know which one is going to start. If you made me guess, held my feet to the fire, like you got to tell me who's starting next to Deuce Gerald's, I would say Dominic McKinley. If we're going 10 is a lead pipe lock and 0, I have no idea, that's like a 3 or a 4. Because if you told me it was Stefan Green, I go, okay, he missed the first week. Like, it took him a while to ease back in. That's fine. You told me it was Malik Blockton. He worked with the ones a lot. Absolutely. Told me it was McKinley. Yeah, I mean, that's what I said, but I don't know. And the fact of the matter is, it doesn't really matter who takes the first snap of the game, right? They're all going to play. You've got a rotation. My question is, beyond who's going to start, is that a dominant group? Is that group going to dominate offensive lines? Deuce Gerald's, Dominic McKinley, Malik Blockton, Stefan Green, Richard Anderson. Like, is that fivesome going to dominate opposing offensive lines? My answer to that question today would be probably not. That doesn't feel to me like Michael Brockers and Benny Logan in 2011. It doesn't feel to me right now like, obviously, Lavallee and Spears and Hill and Kyle Williams. It doesn't feel that way to me. It feels like a group of older players that are good players. I don't get the sense that that's a dominant group. I'd love to be wrong. That's just my opinion. But I think the starting group up front, Prince Uleman-Mielen, Jordan Ross on the edges, Deuce Gerald's, Dominic McKinley on the inside. You move back to linebacker, you talk about ceilings and floors. The floor on linebacker is ridiculously high. Ridiculously high. Do y'all realize this? TJ Daugherty led the SEC in tackles last year, and Devon Keys was second. They're on your team. A year before that, Whit Weeks was second in the SEC in tackles. So your 3 starting linebackers, Whit Weeks, TJ Daugherty, and Devon Keys, over the last 2 years, have finished in the top 2 in the SEC in tackles. That's a high floor. I don't know if any of them first-round picks, but their floor is high. They're going to tackle a lot of people. You've got Tylen Singleton there. You've got a host of younger players beyond that Blake Baker really likes. But that's as high a floor on a position as you're going to get. Those guys, you can just pinch them in for a ton of tackles. So you go back to the secondary, and this is where the ceiling's really high. Because I think DJ Pickett and Ty Benefield can be All-Americans this year. All-Americans. Pickett's at one corner. P.J. Woodland's your second corner, and I like P.J. Woodland as a second corner. You move back, and it's the 3 safeties that they really, really like. Ty Benefield, again, All-American potential. TaMarcus Cooley, versatile, proven. He'll go in there and give you some good reps at safety, good reps in the slot, good reps at nickel. Like, he's a guy that can play. And then Deshaun Spears is going to play some more. Last year, he was kind of a dime guy, played a lot in coverage, and did a good job. PFF grades were high. He made some real plays. Obviously, the Florida game comes to mind. But, like, that group, the ceiling is way high. Pickett's ceiling's through the roof. Benefield's ceiling's through the roof. Deshaun Spears hasn't tapped into his ceiling yet. And you feel like Woodland is a damn good second corner and Cooley's a dependable guy. Jakeem Jackson's next on that list at corner, and they can go to him. But I think the 5 guys they're most comfortable with are those 5. So if you look for a starting 11, and I realize that that's 5 defensive backs, I have to take a linebacker off the field, but you've got a defensive front with Ross, Uleman-Mielen, Gerald's, and McKinley. You go back to linebacker, Keys, Weeks, Daugherty. Then you go outside corners, Pickett and Woodland, back to safety, Cooley and Benefield and Spears. There will be times where a linebacker comes off the field and you go with those 5 DBs. There will be a time where you leave the linebackers on the field, you leave the 5 DBs out there, and you take a defensive lineman off. We saw some 3-down lineman sets from Blake Baker's defense. So it's an old group, talented group, some continuity. Spears, Woodland, Pickett, Weeks, Keys, McKinley. Like, that's 6 guys right there. That's some continuity. And I think it's going to be a very good defense. I'm hesitant on dominant yet. Hesitant for that. But I do like the fact that all of August, this defense will be facing high-octane, fast-paced, weapons everywhere, Lane Kiffin, Charlie Weiss offense. I think that will prepare them well for the season to come. So I'm excited about that defense. I do have some questions about the interior defensive line and how it all comes together. But I think this group's going to be pretty good. So if you want to read about it, you can at louisianasports.net. Free stories up there. Got a couple more football pieces coming on this week, but we're nearing the end of spring football content here with LSU. We'll talk a little bit later on about what Lane Kiffin had to say yesterday in his press conference. We'll do that in hour number 2. When we come back, it's What If Wednesday. We'll do our segment with Dr. Bankhead from Auctioner as well, coming up at the end of the hour. So don't go anywhere. It's the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Boudreaux's Electrical Services. Love my friends at Boudreaux's Electrical Services. Neil and Melissa have been running for 40 years. You're well aware of that. But I contacted Boudreaux's to come out to my house yesterday. Guess who came? Justin Boudreaux. Justin, Neil and Melissa's son, does an awesome job there, is ascending the ranks quite quickly and is doing a fantastic job. Their customer service is second to none. I like the fact that when you call Boudreaux's Electrical Services at 985-397-1562, you so often get a Boudreaux. You think they care? They've been at this for 40 years. They're making sure that their customers are taken care of, whether that's an installation, whether that's maintenance, whether that's monitoring that Generac home standby generator. Do business with Boudreaux's Electrical Services. You can buy a Generac home standby generator from the big box stores. You can. But what's the customer service touch once you do it? So once you make that decision to get that generator put in, to give yourself the peace of mind to know that you're not going to lose power, you know you got to do business with Boudreaux's Electrical Services. Find them online at boudreauxelectrical.com, boudreauxelectrical.com.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. No, the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinecenterla.com.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
end of this week, it will be May, which means we're inching toward Memorial Day. I want to take a second to talk about an incredible way to honor the men and women who have given everything for our country. First American Bank and Trust is hosting their Let Freedom Fly American Flag giveaway, and it is all about showing pride, respect, and gratitude for those who have served. First American Bank and Trust is giving away 500 American flags completely free. They're 3x5 feet, full-size American flags, and it's happening Wednesday, May the 20th. So you got a little bit, but Wednesday, May the 20th at 7 a.m., First American Bank and Trust in Dutchtown. Stop by that branch. A perfect chance to put up a flag at your home or business ahead of Memorial Day to honor those who have served and those who have made the ultimate sacrifice. Just something really powerful about seeing those flags flying across our community, and it's a reminder of who we are and the freedoms that we enjoy every single day. So get there early, because once those 500 flags are gone, they are gone. But it's the Let Freedom Fly American Flag giveaway, May 20th at 7 a.m., Dutchtown at First American Bank and Trust. It's a banking tradition since 1910. Our goal is to have OTB out there helping those folks at First American Bank and Trust with that. You can find them online at fabt.com. Right now, it's What If Wednesday.
Time, space, reality. It's more than a linear path. Where a single choice can branch out into infinite realities. Follow me and ponder the question, what if?
All right, so what if LSU makes the NCAA tournament? What do they need to do between now and Selection Monday?
I think we've done this one a few times, but I'm happy to humor things because it gives me the slightest bit of fleeting hope. They've got to win 7 of the last 9 in the league and then go to Hoover and win a couple more. They've got to win 9 of 11 games probably. And as I said on radio in Southwest Louisiana this morning, like, that is physically possible. I just can't find one shred of optimism as to why it would happen. You've got a pitching staff in complete shambles with an ace that's on the shelf and a number 2 that's not pitching. You've got a lineup that is without its most potent hitter that's leaning on a bunch of freshmen. You've got a team that's lost 9 games in a row, a bullpen that's brutal. You've got to go play Georgia on the road. Like, it's just not a reasonable thing to suggest. I think 2 weeks ago, when I laid this out, when they were playing Texas A&M on Sunday, and I said, here's how you have to do it. And I said you could lose the game to A&M, then you needed to win 1 in Starkville, and then win 3 against South Carolina, and then win 1 in Athens and 2 against Florida. I felt that was reasonable. And it was, because they just about won 3 in Starkville. They just won none. If they had gotten 1 in Starkville, I would tell you, okay, here's the deal. You now have to go sweep a team. Sweep a team, which you haven't done since week 3 of the season.
Oh, my.
So that's what you would have to do against South Carolina, and that would be a tall chore. But at that point, if you could sweep South Carolina, like, then all of a sudden there's a real discussion to be had. You go to state and get swept. It's just, I know it's 1 game off my pace. It's still just difficult to try to swallow it. So it's just not a realistic thing. I wish it were, and they're going to play hard, and I'm going to watch every pitch they throw on Friday. But it's just not a good spot.
All right, so what if LSU doesn't get a basketball commit this week? What's going on with that, Hunt? Why do we have 1 guy still?
If LSU doesn't get a basketball commit this week, I mean, my anxiety level is going to go up.
It has to.
If they were at 6 players right now, I'd be like, well, that's not awesome. They're at 1.
Yeah, 1 is crazy.
1 is not very many. At least some of the schools have like high school classes that are coming in. You have nobody. No players. You have 1 guy. You have a defensive wing.
And that's it.
That's it. So, yeah, I mean, I was told by like what I would consider a very good source 2 weeks ago. I was told they've got like 4 guys that are locked in, just haven't announced it yet. Well, that was 2 weeks ago. Like, these kids can't get off Twitter for 2 seconds not to post where they're going or what they're doing.
Easy.
So the fact that it's been 2 weeks and nobody posted, like, that doesn't give me the warm and fuzzies. So I will be more anxious at this point. Like, Rivers asked for our weekly content schedule on LouisianaSports.net on Sundays. And for the last 2 Sundays, I've sent her, like, I can't put this on a day, but, like, they'll get a basketball commit and I'll write about it. Like, just a lot for that. And it hasn't happened. We're sitting here on Wednesday of the second week, and I have nothing. I have no news breaking. I have no portal profile. I got nothing. So apologies for that, but we've kept the content going on the website. It's not a good spot.
I just don't understand how is only one guy though.
Yeah.
We understand. Like you said, you got 6, 7 of them. One, and it's about to be made on Friday. I don't know, man. Will Wade's got a plan. He's the general for a reason. So, what if you had to project a Saints day 3 pick to be a steal?
I like the idea behind a few of them.
Now day 3. What is that's rounds
4
5?
through 7.
Oh, 4 through 7. Okay.
Yeah. So, the options here, Jeremiah Wright, the guard from Auburn.
Okay.
Bryce Lance, wide receiver, North Dakota State. Lorenzo Styles, DB, Ohio State. Barryon Brown from right here, and then TJ Hall, the DB.
Okay. Don't steal mine.
I think I'm going to go with the obvious answer, and then I'm going to go with the one that I have a good feeling about.
Okay.
The obvious answer is Bryce Lance.
Yes.
Big, physical, super productive. You don't have proven wide receivers. Would it surprise anybody if Bryce Lance showed up and was a little bit better than Devon Vele? I don't think that would shock anybody.
I think he'll play immediately.
So that's probably the answer. It's a 4th round pick. I will go with Jeremiah Wright.
Okay.
He's big, and maybe there's an injury this year, or maybe he doesn't play as much this year, but then next year, could he take Cesar Ruiz's job?
Yes.
He could.
Yes.
He's an SEC dude. He's athletic enough to have come in as a defensive lineman, which is a good trait to have. I think it's possible. So I would go with those two at top of my list.
Mine would simply just be Lorenzo Styles. It's just something about a guy that played both sides of the ball. So, and not only that, we've seen that, Jonas Sinker, what he can do, and his versatility in the secondary. He can play a little bit of corner, he can play a little bit of nickel. He's just like a jack of all trades. And, he's got the pedigree of his younger brother, not his older brother. His younger brother, Sonny Styles. The guy ran a 4.2 in the combine. And if you go watch him at Ohio State, he didn't get an interception, but the guy was all over the field. He was a Swiss Army knife for Ohio State. He kind of reminds me of 2021 PJ Williams for the Saints, where he was sometimes a safety, sometimes it might be the nickel. I like Lorenzo Styles, and I think he can make an impact. I'm not gonna say immediately, maybe an injury or something, but I think Lorenzo Styles will make a name for himself.
It's that time of year where we're very optimistic about a lot of these draft picks, and the fact of the matter is that a lot of them are getting cut.
Yes.
That's just the way that it usually goes. And this Saints roster doesn't have as much room on it as last year's did, because you had some guys that filled some slots last year. So I'm glad they took all the picks, but the fact of the matter is, just based on math, you can't have all those guys. You got issues with the practice squad, the active, and that's what you got. So that's it for What If Wednesday here on this Wednesday. We're brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Renaissance Homes and Pools, built by Renaissance.com is the website. But I would just suggest you reach out to Joey Blanchard by text. I'm going to give you his cell number. If you're looking for a pool, looking for an outdoor kitchen, looking to build the home of your dreams, your forever home, Joey Blanchard and his team at Renaissance Homes and Pools is happy to help you. They're at 225. This is not them. This is Joey. 225-252-7745. Text Joey. Say, hey, heard your spot on Hunt Show. I'd like to build a pool. He'll get back to you. That's as easy as it is. That's how easy it is to deal with the owner of a company that takes pride in what he does. He's going to be there when you go through that consultation. He's going to be there when you go through the design phase, where he's got this incredible software that can build the most lavish pools as well as just a simple cocktail pool, depending on what you're looking at. He's also going to be there when they dig. He's going to be there when they fill that pool, when they finish the pool. You're dealing with the owner of the company. There's something comforting about that, and you do that with Renaissance Homes and Pools. Go check them out online at builtbyrenaissance.com and see some pictures of their great work. It's not too late to get into your pool this summer. It's not. It's still April right now. Contact Joey, 225-252-7745. Say, hey, I'd like to talk about a pool. He's happy to do it. Find him online at builtbyrenaissance.com as well. We still got tons to do. Koki Riley will be here in 15 minutes talking LSU baseball. Here's some sound from Lane Kiffin later on, 45 minutes from now, SEC Baseball Power Rankings. So don't go anywhere. We'll come back and close out the hour next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
GoTro's Outdoor Power. GoTro's Outdoor Power. 2 locations, one on Airline Highway in Baton Rouge, one in Gonzales. Grass growing season means grass cutting season. If you're looking to get behind the wheel of a new zero turn, look no further than my friends at GoTro's Outdoor Power. They've got the largest Hustler inventory in the state. They've also got the largest parts inventory in the state. And they've got great deals that they're still running, up to $350 off the Raptor series, which is fantastic. Ask them about the deals that you heard about on Hunt's show, and they will give them to you. It started in March, and they've run through April as well. They've been in business for 22 years, family-owned and operated. Don't think of that as small. It's Gotros Outdoor Power. Gotros Outdoor Power, online at gotrosonline.com.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
Bayou Ford has the new 25 Ford F-150 Lariat truck with $12,000 off MSRP, plus the 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Hi, this is Beth Tarina. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinela.com and tell them Matt sent you.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit louisianapropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
Everything you need for a stunning garden is at the Plant Barn in Baton Rouge. From trees and shrubs to plants and pottery, the Plant Barn has it all at great prices.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Closing up hour number 1 here, Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. It is, of course, time now for Sports Health, presented by Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Team at Ochsner out at Parkview Baptist today doing physicals. They've got a huge event coming up in 2 weeks. If you need a physical done, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. on Saturday, May 6th. You can stop on by Elite on Burbank at 5444 Burbank Drive and get a sports physical at no cost to you. Again, that's Saturday, May 16th, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. It's time now to bring on our friend Dr. Chris Bankhead from Ochsner. Good enough to give us some time here on this Wednesday. Dr. Bankhead, thanks for the time. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure. Injury prone is a word that I wanted to discuss with you today. It's obviously something that is tossed about a lot in NFL draft circles. There are players that there are concerns here or there, and the Saints certainly took a guy that has had some injuries. But not speaking in specific cases, just generally speaking, what do you think as a doctor when you hear the term injury prone tossed about?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's obviously a combination of factors. Some things are just bad luck. I think first it's important to separate sort of like bone from soft tissue. The biggest reason for that is bones, when they heal with the exact same tissue. They heal with bone. And so as long as they heal, their risk of re-injury is really no different than breaking any other bone. Soft tissue is a little different. It heals with scar. And so a lot of times with soft tissue injuries, your risk of re-injuring that same thing is a little bit higher. Hamstring is probably the most common thing, right? So if a guy pulls a hamstring, you always worry, well, like, what risk do they have of kind of hurting it again? And if you look at studies out there with professional athletes, that risk is relatively high, probably 30% recurrence rate. And then with sports like football, you wonder, well, like, how much time do they usually miss? They kind of average around 3 weeks of missed time from a hamstring injury, and it kind of varies. There's kind of a big swing. Sometimes it can be significantly more than that. Sometimes it can be a little bit less.
Is the severity of an injury indicative of whether or not it may happen again, or is it once it's healed, whether it was not as severe or extremely severe, once it's healed, it's the same?
Severity certainly does matter. I mean, I think if you have an injury where you miss, you have a hamstring injury where you miss like 8 or 10 weeks or something, it's probably a much higher grade injury that takes a longer time to recover from. I think as far as like the risk of recurrence, it's probably pretty similar, but I would worry that when it does happen, it would probably be more severe again.
Dr. Chris Bankhead is our guest here, talking to him about the term injury prone that's talked about. Some cases that I think of just in the big picture of sports, like Patrick Mahomes seems to always sprain his ankle in November, December, and run around there in a boot. We know that Joe Burrow's had 3 different injuries. We know that Steph Curry has missed a lot of time with ankle injuries as well. Like, are those the types of things you're talking about? That would you classify those guys as injury prone at this point?
I mean, I guess you'd have to, right?
Yeah.
Just based on their history, right? They've had a significant amount of injuries. Now, some of those fall into that same category of soft tissue injuries, right? Ankle sprain is a ligament injury. It's a soft tissue that connects 2 bones together. I don't recall. I remember Steph, had a procedure to kind of correct his, if I'm not mistaken. But ankle's another one of those ones where if you have one, the chance of re-injuring it is pretty high. Now, luckily for those guys like Mahomes, you see him out there hobbling around a boot. They tend to miss less time than something like a hamstring or some of the the bigger ligament injuries like ACLs and stuff like that. Certainly is a much longer length of time.
I know that y'all have got extended walk-in hours, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday through Friday over at Elite. Can you tell us what's going on over there?
Yeah, I mean it's an orthopedic walk-in clinic. For really any of your walk-in needs, we're open now 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. So if you're out there playing sports, maybe you have a soft tissue injury, maybe you have a bone injury, you have any questions, concerns, thoughts about it, then stop by and we're happy to see you.
Dr. Bankhead, we certainly appreciate the time. Have a great rest of your week.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it.
That is Dr. Chris Bankhead with Ochsner. I think it's an interesting deal, and it's one that we're not going to get our answer for a couple of years as far as Jordan Tyson goes. You can hear a medical opinion, which is certainly worth a lot more weight than mine, and suggest that, like these injuries heal with scar tissue, and it can happen again. But there have been plenty of guys who have played football that have pulled a hammy and that have come back and been just fine. There have been plenty of guys that have pulled a hammy and have come back and pulled it again. I understand the risk that the Saints took at that spot. I do. And I don't have a medical background at all. But I know that the Saints have a lot of people on staff that do have a medical background. I know that the NFL puts these guys through the ringer. And I think the Saints have information that would suggest that the injury history is of minimal concern to them moving forward. I would trust that over my opinion or Joe from Plaquemines' opinion or Jordan from the West Bank's opinion. Like, I just feel that way. I'm going to look at the player Jordan Tyson is before I look at the injury history. If the doctors suggest this is just something we can't deal with, I'm sure a lot of them did that with Garrett Nussmeier. Patella tendonitis, don't love it. Cyst on the spine, not wild about it. Okay, and I'm sure those same doctors looked at Jordan Tyson and were like, this is okay. This is a huge pick for the organization. You must hit in the top 10 on a rebuilding team. One of the biggest needs on your roster is playmaker, vertical threat, dynamic wide receiver, there are other ones in the draft. You don't have to take Jordan Tyson. Not like it's him or nothing, or you don't get one. There are other receivers. I just feel like if they made the decision to do that, they've got to have enough information to suggest that it's a reasonable bet that he'll be okay. We'll find out. Like, we won't have to guess. We will find out if Jordan Tyson's able to make it through his first, hopefully, 5 years of the organization relatively injury-free. But that just remains to be seen. Wanted to get another opinion on it. Appreciate Dr. Bankhead for doing that for us. If you missed any of the first hour, catch it on demand wherever you find your sound. Talked about LSU and Southeastern, plus the direction of the team and program this year. Went through LSU's defensive depth chart on the gridiron. It was What If Wednesday. Our LSU content always at Hunt on LSU. When we come back, Koki Riley of The Advocate, been with the LSU baseball team all year. We'll discuss with him coming up next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Marucci. Get on by and take a tour at Marucci. I've been telling you about the tours for a couple of months. What an awesome, awesome, awesome resource and opportunity you have to go see where they make the official bat of Major League Baseball. What a cool thing to have in Baton Rouge, right? Talking about 1,200 of these things that are made daily. You can go through and see where they make these, from the cutting room to the staining room. You can hear the story of how they went from two pros, former pros, in a backyard shed with their athletic trainer making a bat to the official bat of Major League Baseball. You can see where the bat that the best of the best use is made. You can also take some hacks. Get in the hitter's house. Become a member at Marucci. You can get key card access 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get in there, take some cuts. You got a youth baseball player, youth softball player in your house that's eating up with it? Get on by Marucci. Check them out online at MarucciSports.com. That's Marucci right here in Baton Rouge, MarucciSports.com.
Ever wonder why cane sauce doesn't come in a pre-sealed packet? It's because it's made fresh inside every Raising Cane's every single day. Because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinela.com and tell them Matt sent you.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the new 25 Jeep Grand Cherokee with $15,000 off MSRP.
Plus the 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home, with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Staring at elimination, the Rockets will again be without Kevin Durant in Game 5 of their first-round NBA playoff series against the Lakers tonight. Durant out a third consecutive game with a sprained left ankle and bone bruise. LA guard Austin Reeves out nearly a month with an oblique strain is a game-time decision. Despite a 3-1 series lead, tonight is a must-win for the Lakers, believes ESPN's Kendrick Perkins.
They better get it done in Game 5, which I believe they will, because if it's prolonged past that, then we're going to be having a different conversation. Because you don't want to have this series extended and all of a sudden Kevin Durant comes back and all of a sudden the Rockets and their confidence continue to grow.
Rockets Lakers 10 Eastern ESPN. NFL, another offseason deal for the Texans. They agreed on a 3-year extension with linebacker Azeez El-Shaair. After 9 NFL seasons, safety Justin Simmons announced his retirement. Baseball, struggling Red Sox ace Garrett Crochet put on the 15-day injured list with inflammation in his pitching shoulder. His ERA in his first 6 starts this season is over 6.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen. Coming up Thursday, the Nuggets, 76ers, and Hawks are all down 3 games to 2. I'll tell you the team I believe that will force a Game 7. It's on Sportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Now, The Hunt Palmer Show. This is a catastrophe. You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
That's what I wished for when I blew out my candle.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
The floor is yours.
Hour 2, Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Half that work week officially in the rearview mirror. We're working towards a weekend. Thanks for hanging out with us on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. My SEC Baseball Power Rankings coming your way in 30 minutes and 15 minutes. Some sound from Lane Kiffin yesterday. Right now, let's talk some LSU baseball. Koki Riley covers the beat for the Advocate. He was up in Starkville, Mississippi over the weekend, was at the box last night, joins us now on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. Koki, how are you?
Doing all right. How's it going?
Going well. I'm curious where you land in your learnings from Starkville. How much was, well, they got swept, so they're not going to make the NCAA tournament, and how much was, man, some of these young guys are decent?
Both.
Yeah.
I kind of had a feeling they were going to miss it before that, so I guess the freshman is probably a bigger takeaway between the two. But I mean, this weekend kind of reasserted this. I think this team is a struggling team for different reasons than the ones that have kind of plagued them for most of the season. I think that's the best way I would sort of sum it up. They're struggling because they're too young right now. I think you see that in some of the defensive mistakes. You see that in some of the base running. You also see some of the good stuff that comes with being a young team. You know, the potential at the plate, you know, the big days from guys like Mason Braun and Omar Cerna. So at least offensively, like if they're struggling at all, whether it's stealing the ball, hitting the ball, running the bases, it's because they're too young. It's not because they're undisciplined as much. That's what it kind of feels like to me. And then the flip side with the pitching, like right now it's too many injuries and, you know, certain guys at the bullpen underperforming. It's kind of a combination of the two right now. I mean, when you don't have Case and Evans and you lose those 6 or 7 innings that are so critical that you need and that are so critical to getting through an entire weekend, it's really, really hard to win baseball games. And especially against a really, really good offense on the road, even though you're getting up early in these games because the offense is hitting, it's hard to really finish off games when you're really kind of scrounging around trying to find somebody who can get you those in the last 9 to 12 outs, and you just don't really have the arms in terms of guys who are stretched out, guys who can get guys out on both sides of the plate. Just a lot of issues when it comes to that sort of stuff for this team right now.
Let's talk about the pitching. We'll go back to the offense. If I were to ask you what member of this pitching staff has really had a nice year, like where would you turn there?
Oh boy. I mean, Lackenmeyer, maybe.
I mean, it's like Cowan, Sheeran, maybe Lockenmeyer, and all those guys have had their highs and lows. Like that's kind of the point of the question. It's like I could not have foreseen a pitching staff where almost nobody kind of reached the ceiling or emerged as like a dude. Like that's pretty shocking.
I think Marcos Paz is on the right path. He's not there yet. He may never get there. I'm not 100% sure that he's going to get there. I'm not as confident as I'm not as confident in him as I was, say, Cade Anderson after his freshman year. But there's something there. He's had enough good innings. He's had enough good 1 inning stretches or 2 inning stretches, or that 2 inning stretch against A&M to where I could see it. But I think that's the sort of stuff you're looking at, right? Because Garcia and Lachenmeyer have pitched well enough to where if they wanted to come back next season, I think Jay would take them. Especially with Lachenmeyer since he's only a sophomore.
Yeah.
I think Garcia's gone to the draft after this year. I think Sheeran's probably gone to the draft after this year. The thing with Sheeran, I think, is less about stuff and more about just I think he's tired down. The velocity isn't quite where it was. The stuff isn't quite where it was at the beginning of the season, and he's you kind of see the fatigue as the year has sort of gone along for him. And they've had to use him more and more, and they've upped his pitch count more and more, and you've kind of seen the results of fatigue there, I think. But I think he's been, on the whole, he's still been really good. I'm kind of nitpicking with him a little bit. That's kind of it when it comes to the pitching, because it's I guess I'll also say this, there's William Schmidt definitely improved, and there wasn't anything I saw from K7 that made me think, he and Schmidt can't be good starters next season.
Yeah.
And I think they have 2 guys who kind of took their lumps as sophomore starters this year at the top of a rotation, thrown into roles that maybe they weren't 100% ready for because of injury or, just roster construction. And now they go into next season much better prepared to sort of take on the reins as juniors because, I know Kay Anderson was a sophomore, but he was also a draft eligible sophomore, so he was an older sophomore. Those guys were pretty young to be thrown into those sort of roles, and let's see how they react to them next year with a year of experience underneath their belts.
You mentioned the youth offensively, and that's largely because the guys that are not young are on the bench. What do you think Jay has learned about roster construction, specifically with the transfer portal this year, if anything?
Well, he said it, right? They went after power guys in the portal who had the bats to, hit 10 to 15 homers this season, sort of bridge the gap that they lost from Jared Jones and Ethan Fry at the plate, and guys that had some defensive versatility that can, realistically play those spots. What they missed on was those guys just weren't very good athletes. Those guys didn't really take to Jay's approach as much as he wanted them to take to his approach. Is that because they were too stubborn and they didn't want to do it, or they just couldn't do it? That's the part that I don't really know. But that has been pretty clear to me. They just weren't the contact hitters that they thought they had. They were even worse defenders than they thought they were. And because the contact wasn't there, because the defensive struggles were there, none of it even came close to making up the power that those guys could provide. And none of them really provided the power except for maybe Seth Dardar for a short stretch there in SEC play where he kind of figured things out before getting hurt. Then again, Seth Dardar, if he was your number 7 hitter and say he was on last year's team and he could have worked, right? If he had stayed healthy, he seemed like a guy who kind of got it a little bit. But the rest of the guys, it just never came close to clicking, really. And you can't really survive like that in this day and age. Part of it's because they lost so many guys to the draft, and I'm writing about that a little bit right now. But you can't miss in the portal that much and expect to be successful that season. That same year, it's just kind of impossible, and that's kind of the spot they find in offensively right now.
How do you feel about the matchup with South Carolina this weekend?
Well, it's the lowest team in the totem pole that they're going to face all year in Southeastern Conference play, SEC play. They're more talented than this team. I think they'll probably win this series because they're at home. I wouldn't bet on a sweep because this LSU team just has too many holes right now, even if the offense has been kind of fixed. South Carolina has a better conference record than they do. So, these are two teams that are just in a really strange spot. Like South Carolina is literally in a transition period right now, trying to find a new head coach. They're going to have a brand new roster next season. But KJ Scobie's a really good player who I think, a lot of teams are going to have a really close eye on next season, going into this offseason. LSU might be one among them, That's pure speculation. I don't have any reporting on that,
Sure.
but it just makes sense, right? Especially on the infield. I think that's just kind of where these teams are at right now, and this is just a very strange series, especially when you put in the Palmieri factor. And I think the most drama, maybe the most drama, the most interesting thing is whether he shows up to the games or not, and I don't think he will. But you never know, right?
No shot. Last one, Koki. You were in Starkville. You've made your rounds around the Southeastern Conference the last few years covering this team. Like, how would you describe Dudy Noble to the people that are listening in comparison to the rest of the league that you've seen?
Yeah, you were there this weekend with me.
I was.
It's a beautiful park, and they had this crazy fireworks show at the end of the Saturday game, which we tried to get her. You probably said this in your show already, but we were trying to get her interviews as the fireworks are popping off, and like poor Eddie Emmons got like the stone cold face. And I'm not trying to make fun of him at all, but it's just the reality of the situation when you lose a tough game like that, and there's like this celebratory fireworks show going on in the background. It kind of makes for a scene in a sitcom or something. It's an absolutely beautiful park. The only problem is the press box, which is like no one else is going to care about that, but people like me and you. But it's still like. Yeah, the concourse is beautiful. It's really, really clean. Seems like there's more space with the seating. You mentioned the outfield seating, which is wholly unique to that park. I think Arkansas and Mississippi State's parks are kind of in a league of their own, and everybody else is kind of chasing that. And in terms of environment, it's the only one that's even close to LSU's when it's at its best. So I think that if you combine like park and environment, it's hard to find a better place in the country than Mississippi State. It's definitely right up there with LSU in terms of environment. It's definitely right up there with Arkansas in terms of park. That's the best way I can put it.
We'll see you at the box this weekend, Koki. Thanks, man.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Hon.
He's Koki Riley with The Advocate covering the LSU Tigers. He did a good job of painting that scene, but on Saturday after LSU lost, Yaman hit a big 3-run homer, and so they brought him as the one player that we were going to talk to. And we talked to him on the field when we're on the road. At home, they've got a press room that they come to, but on the road, we talked to him on the field. So Yaman is having to talk to us after a loss, literally as there's a fireworks show going off with like music blaring. And we looked at the Mississippi State media relations lady, and she was like, well, it'll probably be over in like 15 minutes. And I was like, we can't make these kids sit here for 15 minutes. Like, we just got to get the sound, and if it works, it works. Like, it would not have worked for the TV guys with to have the sound. I have it on my phone, and I was able to listen to Yaman and then transcribe it and write it for print. It worked, but it was a ridiculous scene to do interviews with Yaman and Jay Johnson during a fireworks show after they had just lost a Saturday game. It was, as he mentioned, kind of out of a scene out of a sitcom there. But I appreciate Koki for giving us a little bit of time, and in his perspective on that, they've certainly got some changes to make over there at LSU, and I'm quite confident Jay Johnson will do just that. We'll take a timeout, come back. We'll hear from Lane Kiffin when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC, FabryChevrolet.com, FabryChevrolet.com. Every car that you find on the lot on Highway 61 in St. Francisville is online at FabryChevrolet.com. So if you want to start your buying process there and look at some of the great deals and see what the inventory looks like and then read about the deals that they've got and all the features of all the vehicles, you can do that. But I highly suggest you go see them on Highway 61 in St. Francisville to experience that wonderful customer service that you get from the Fabry family. They've been at this for 35 years, 5 locations, 3 brands. Amazing, amazing stuff at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. If you're looking for a new vehicle for the summer, you can do that at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Get in that new Chevy Tahoe, Chevy Suburban, maybe GMC Yukon or Denali. Get a new truck, Silverado or a Sierra. It's all there at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Online at FabryChevrolet.com. Highway 61 in St. Francisville. FabryChevrolet.com.
Championships are won with preparation, and so are great roofs.
The Tigers don't cut corners on the floor. Parish Construction and Roofing won't cut corners on your home either.
Do business with someone you know. Parish Construction and Roofing.
ParishBuilt.com. Bayou Ford has the new 25 Ford F-150 Lariat truck with $12,000 off MSRP, plus the 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here. We eat out here. We watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient. And you will have your pool in no time.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit LouisianaPropane.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Love talking to my friends at the Highland Insurance Group. You can find them online at highlandig.com. But contact John Carbo and his team, especially if you're a business owner and you're being squeezed a little bit with your group and employee benefits. If the cost is becoming too great or you're not getting the coverage that you're looking for, your employees are not happy with their benefits. If that's the case, you could struggle to recruit new talent in your organization. You could very much struggle to retain talent in your organization. Jonathan Carver and his team are happy to help you with a second look. They do group and employee benefits all the time. That's healthcare, dental, vision, all bundled into one. And if you're with that one specific carrier that's been raising rates, and that's happened to you 3, 4, 5 years in a row, and the cost is just becoming untenable, well, contact the Howard Insurance Group. See if they can help. They've got options. They're an independent broker. That means they can shop to different carriers to make sure that you're put in the right place. So if you're looking for new group employee benefits, better healthcare, better vision, better dental for your organization to help with your staff, The Highland Insurance Group's online at highlandig.com. They're based here in Baton Rouge. You can find them online at highlandig.com. All right, Lane Kiffin met with media yesterday. We got a lot of sound from that. He talked to media for over 20 minutes, so we'll get to it throughout the week. But I wanted to talk about the offense today because I spent some time in the first hour talking about defense, so I wanted to kind of shift things. And, you know, one of the names that has not been brought up a lot, and someone that I didn't spend a lot of time thinking about 12 months ago, is Charlie Weis Jr. And when I think about Ole Miss's renaissance as a program, I think about Lane Kiffin. I think about him coming in and building these phenomenal offenses and developing quarterbacks and scoring points and throwing his hands in the air and saying, get your popcorn ready to the sideline reporter before the Bama game, and then finally getting over the hump and beating Georgia and leading that team to the playoffs. And, like, I think about Lane Kiffin doing all that. And I think what is pretty evident is just how important Charlie Weis is to the operation. Now, he will one day be gone. That day's not today, but he'll one day be gone. He's going to get a head coaching job. But he's here now, and Lane Kiffin obviously respects him a great, great deal. And when Weis got on the plane to come to Baton Rouge, he had second thoughts about going back to Ole Miss, and Lane Kiffin dug in the couch cushions at LSU and found him another $500,000 annually to keep him here. And Kiffin talked about the journey that Charlie Weis Jr. has gone on in his coaching career.
I love his story, you know, like, guy didn't play, but then just totally invested into coaching. And yes, he has this great brain and this amazing IQ, but the guy grinds, man. He works at his game. There's never a year, even though we got all these top stats in the country every year, he still goes into every offseason. How can we do things better? What can we watch? Where can we go visit? I just love that growth mindset because that's what we want in our building.
He obviously comes from a background of this. His dad was an uber successful coach. You can say what you will about we'll have a decided schematic advantage at Notre Dame and whatnot, but he was obviously a very successful offensive coach it was New England, and was a guy that got Notre Dame into the Sugar Bowl and had Brady. I mean, he was a great offensive coach, and that's the house Charlie Weis grew up in, and has kind of taken that to the next level now. Now, he's not a head coach yet, but he will be one day, and he and Lane Kiffin kind of work on refining this LSU offense to what it will be. And this is Lane Kiffin's kind of thought on that.
We just continue to always work on it. You know, he goes and does some recruiting, but last 2 days, so we've already been in there watching cut-ups from it and what can we do better and what players can we utilize in different areas, reevaluate the players, re-rank them, and do all those things.
You get the sense that Charlie Weis is the general manager of the offense, the coordinator, obviously. And Lane Kiffin is the CEO. He's the owner. Like, there's a structure there. And so Kiffin's got to deal with other things. He's got to make sure Baker's taken care of, got to make sure that Baker's got the right assistants. He's got to make sure the recruiting is in order. He's got to have his discussions with Billy Glasscock about where they're going next and what high school recruitings look like. And you sense from the outside, this may be a little bit off base, but you sense from the outside that Charlie Weis doesn't do a lot of recruiting. Charlie Weis is in there making sure that LSU's offense in 2026 is going to be awesome. That's his job. And so when I think about the offense and I think about it being Lane Kiffin's, it is, but Weis is in charge of that side of the ball right now, and Kiffin is in supervision mode. Weis calls the plays on game day. Kiffin has veto power, but Weis calls the plays. And he is in charge of the offense, probably more so than I thought when I was at SEC Media Days last summer, and we're talking about Ole Miss. Like, I'm not spending a lot of time talking about Charlie Weis then. Well, I've got a better sense of it now because it's right under my nose. Charlie Weis is an important part of this deal. And so now Weis and Sam Leavitt are involved in making the 2026 offense as good as it can be, and we understand that Sam Leavitt has not been able to physically go through full practices during the spring. He will in fall camp, not right now. So Lane talked about Leavitt's involvement in the spring and learning this new system.
He's taking it very seriously. It's a lot to learn within the system, and he really spends a lot of time up here. And that's not easy. You know, when you're not playing, it's a little bit harder, to stay locked in and go to walkthroughs and do all those things. But he's taking that very seriously. He's real serious about being great. Like I say all the time, we actually talked at length today about this. If we're in the team room and I said to all the players, how many of you love football? every single one will raise their hand. Well, they don't. Some do. Most love what football gives them, whether that's the money, I can wear the gear around, I get the attention, I get social media. Very few of them really love the game, like the work that's within it. And Sam is that. We talked about it. He loves to work. He loves to go home at night and spend more time on football and things he can develop, not just physically, but mentally also.
Well, that's good because he's going to have to work a lot in the summer and certainly in the fall to catch up. He needs a lot of reps in 11 on 11 in the fall. And I know that Lane Kiffin likes to manage injury risk, but Leavitt didn't do much of anything in the spring. And this is a new offense that moves very quickly and has a lot of concepts to it. So he'll have to get a lot of work in. And I'm curious, and we won't get our answer, maybe never. This may not be something we're able to see, and I don't think Lane will talk about it. But I'm curious how Lane balances keeping guys healthy in the fall and getting Sam Leavitt reps. Now, Trinidad Chamos didn't get a ton of reps last fall. He was the backup. That worked out okay. And maybe Lane draws upon that and says, well, as long as you're in tune mentally and as long as you have the ability physically, we'll make it to where you can perform. We've done that with quarterbacks wherever we've been. I mean, maybe that's the way he thinks. But Sam wants to work. He wants to grind. And we'll see how much of an opportunity he's given to do that. Now, this is probably the least important answer that Lane Kiffin gave, but Sam Leavitt was able to do some 7-on-7 to close out spring on Saturday, and Lane talked about what they saw there.
Yeah, Sam did a good job. I mean, he only played 8 plays, but threw a touchdown on his first play and a very deep ball that probably would have went for a touchdown, so that felt good. But he's doing a great job. I just met with him this morning on some things, and he's a really competitive, want to be great, want the team to be great. He's in a really good place that way and just still working through his foot and then getting out there and being able to play with the guys more.
You heard it here. Touchdown on the first play. Another deep ball that would have been a touchdown. This offense is a juggernaut. 8 plays and 7-on-7, 2 for scores. That's a pretty high clip. 1 out of 4. I can do that, Matt. That's 25%. 25% touchdown rate will be pretty good. I'm kidding, obviously. Just good that he was able to get out there on Saturday, throw it around a little bit, and you just hope that he can ease into it more and more. I can tell you our last look at him was around April 24th or so. No, beyond April 23rd. Whatever. That'll be our last look before August 1st, basically. He's not all that close, but you just hope that over the course of May, June, July, that 3 months, that there's a lot of healing that goes on and he's back to work. But this is an offense that I have a lot of confidence in, based in the fact that the head coach has always had a good offense and that the offensive coordinator is trusted in the way that he is and has produced at the level he has, and that the quarterback is getting healthier, that the quarterback has a great work ethic, and then you've got a lot of really good players around that quarterback. Just a matter of getting him to work when it's able. And I don't know when that's going to be, but we'll certainly see. Again, we've got a lot more sound from Lane Kiffin moving forward this week. That'll be kind of our last real meat on the bone for football. We'll continue to talk football. We're going to have to talk a lot of football because baseball's not going to get us what they've done in the previous years. Baseball getting us through June. I said it a million times last July and August. Baseball was a godsend getting us through June. They're not doing it this year. So a lot of football on the horizon here. You can sense the excitement in my voice, can't you? I'm very excited for football. I like to do that in July. I'm not as good at that in May. I'm not as good at football in May as a lot of people are. I will work on it, and I promise you this. I will give it to you. I just can't quite promise my enthusiasm level on that front on May 17th. But here we are. That's the situation. So we'll get there one way or another. We'll keep on chugging on this Wednesday. We're brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. When we come back, my SEC Baseball Power Rankings next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. I've told you a few times, just a testimonial. Brian Haldane from our news talk station, Talk 107.3, Mornings with Brian Haldane, had David Duvall, One Bath and Closets, come out to his home. And Brian and his wife decided it's time to really redo this bathroom. They had it for a little bit and thought it's time to do something different. And so David Duvall came in and did a full-scale renovation of that bathroom. New vanity, put 2 sinks in instead of just the one, and the Haldanes have been thrilled. Brian's talked about it on his show. He's talked about it to me. That's the kind of customer satisfaction you get from David Duvall at One Bath and Closets. He does it right the first time and leaves the competition behind. Don't just call the guy down the street and hand him some cash, see if he can knock some things around. Go with the company that's licensed, that's bonded, that's insured, that's been at this for 35 years, and that knows what they're doing. Soup to nuts is what David always says. He handles everything. Floors, vanity, showers, tubs, plumbing, toilets, all of it. It's One Bath and Closets. Find them online at onebathandclosets.com.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
Bayou Ford has the new 25 Ford F-150 Lariat truck with $12,000 off MSRP, plus the 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
Every Raising Cane's chicken finger is marinated, battered by hand, and cooked to order to perfection. We don't have heat lamps, because when you make it right, you can taste it.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
It is not too late to get in the pool of your dreams this summer. It's not. Contact Renaissance Homes and Pools. Joey Blanchard's the owner. You can shoot him a text at 225-252-7745. 252-7745. Just text Joey, hey, heard your read on Hunt's show. Would love to get in the pool. He's happy to help. Whether you're looking for big, lavish pool, whether you're looking for more modest pool, maybe just a cocktail pool that you've always wanted. Joey can do it all. It starts with this incredible technology that he's got that allows you to design to scale every inch of that pool. Even an outdoor kitchen you can lump in with it. If you know what you want to do, tell him. He'll make it happen. If you have no idea where to start, well, you start with Joey and he helps you walk through it. He'll be there when you design the pool. He'll be there when they dig the pool. He'll be there when they fill the pool, when they finish the pool. Something to be said for working with the local company whose owner is there every step of the way. Take a lot of pride in their work at Renaissance Homes and Pools. If you're looking to build your forever home, Renaissance Homes and Pools can help you with that as well. Joey's at 252-7745. That's 252-7745. It's Renaissance Homes and Pools. You can find them online at builtbyrenaissance.com. All right, power rankings.
Hunt's SEC Power Rankings. The Georgia Bulldogs.
I made the move. I've held Texas in the top spot all year. They literally have not moved once. Even when they got swept by A&M. I'm going with Georgia now. And it's not because Texas did anything wrong. Riojas is not pitching quite as well, but I'll get to that in a second. Georgia's number 1 in the SEC in batting average, number 1 in home runs, number 1 in slugging percentage, number 1 in on-base percentage, and number 2 in fielding percentage. Their bullpen's got a lot of power. They've done a great job of going out and winning games away from Athens. I think this is the best team in the league now.
The Texas Longhorns.
Yeah, Ruger Riojas is not throwing the ball as well as he was early in the season. Volantis is still very good. I still like this Texas lineup. I still like their balance. If you were playing a Texas-Georgia series in Athens today, in Austin today, I would take Texas to win it. But I think Georgia has shown itself to be the more consistent and complete team. Texas's big advantage on Georgia was the starting rotation, and that's not quite at the elite level that it was, so I'll go with Texas at 2.
Texas A&M!
They're staying at number 3. They've had a really good run the last few weeks. They went to Gainesville, dropped the first game. Aiden King threw a gem, won games 2 and 3. They've got a freshman, Jorian Wilson, who you saw here in Baton Rouge, who's a freak show. He's continued to be a freak show. He hit a couple homers in Gainesville. One of them went like 440 feet over the batter's eye. He threw a guy out at home plate from like a flat-footed stance. He's out of control, and you've seen Gavin Grahovec have a monster year as well. So A&M right there at number 3.
The Auburn Tigers.
Rich Thompson's team's won 4 straight SEC series, so they stay at number 4 this week. I like this Auburn team. Their pitching is good. Their defense is pretty good. Their offense is okay. They lifted that batting average up from where it was previously, so you like that. They're not a really powerful team, but they lead the SEC in ERA, and that's why Auburn is number 4.
The Ole Miss Rebels.
Got the Rebs up a couple of spots. I think this team has the pitching to make a move. I'm concerned about the offense. That's fair to say. But I think they've got the pitching to potentially make a move, so I like Ole Miss, and I leave them right there.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Got a first-hand look at them for 3 days. Now they're at number 6. They lead the SEC in doubles, which I think is an important stat. And I think Jack Bauer, the left-hander that you saw on Saturday, could be a real game changer for them. He was up to 102 in high school from the left side. He's toned that down, and I use air quotes, how ridiculous this sounds, but he's throwing like 98 now, and he's not walking guys, and the slider is good. He could be a game changer for them. They don't have enough juice in the starting rotation right now, and that was my positive fielding by LSU going to State. And they did a good job. They scored 3 in the first inning against State all 3 games, but the bullpen from State, led by Jack Bauer, did a pretty good job of winning games late with the offense coming with it. So State is in at number 6.
The Florida Gators.
Florida has lost 3 of 4 SEC weekends, but they did beat Georgia 2 out of 3. They did win on Friday against A&M. Like, they are good. They're just not winning weekends, which is ultimately what we're going to have to do in the postseason. So I dropped them a couple of spots, but I got them at number 7.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Put the Hogs here at number 8. Arkansas, it's hard to believe, they're number 8 in the SEC in ERA to this point. As far as the offense goes, that's down at number 11 in batting average, and we thought that they would slug a little bit more. They're 9th in the SEC in home runs, so it has not been great for Arkansas, but they are still talented, and they're still hanging around. So I leave Arkansas right there at number 8.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
Vols did a good job over the weekend of controlling the damage, and they stayed in the weekend. They've got 82 home runs now, which is 4th in the SEC. From a batting average perspective, they're not as good, down at 10th. The pitching, led by Tegan Kuhns, who was brilliant last week and could be an X factor for them, is up to 6th in the league in ERA, and you know that they're very talented. They're 6th in the SEC in strikeouts as well. So I like the talent on the staff for Tennessee. You just got to wonder if they'll hit, and I guess we'll find that out when the time comes in the NCAA tournament.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Tide, I dropped a spot to number 10. They're hitting .255 as a team. That's 15th in the SEC. The offense is just not good enough at this point, so that's why I got Alabama down at number 10.
The Vanderbilt Commodores.
Moved Vandy up a couple of spots. Look, they are 2nd in the SEC in homers. That's very good. They are 15th in ERA. That is not good. Only LSU has a worse ERA than Vanderbilt. So that's their shortcoming. That's why they're going to have to fight, scrap, and claw to get in the field of 64. I think they will, but they're going to have to work really hard down the stretch.
The Oklahoma Sooners.
Sooners are 10-8 in the SEC at this point. They are not great at anything, which is a tough scene. I saw them here. I thought they were okay offensively. They're fourth in the league in fielding percentage, which is pretty good, but they don't hit for a lot of power. They don't hit for a high average. Their pitching staff is not as good as we thought it was early in the season. I think even though they're 10-8, they're going to have to fight, scrap, and claw to get in. I think they will at something like 14-16, but I think they're a 2 or 3 seed.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
This team is not good. This should have been a red flag for us when LSU struggled to beat this team at the box. I was thinking to myself, well, LSU's probably decent. Like, Kentucky's just annoying, but they're decent. They're not decent. They're bad. They've lost 2 out of 3 to South Carolina, lost 2 out of 3 to Vanderbilt, lost 2 out of 3 to Missouri. They're 9 and 12 in the league. They're last in the league in homers. This team is not good, and the fact that LSU couldn't take care of them in the box was red flag number 1, honestly, for this season, and it's showing now.
The LSU Tigers.
Last in the league in ERA, and you don't have your most productive hitter. They're still better than Missouri. They're still better than South Carolina, but that's it.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
South Carolina's won some series lately. How about them? And you look at them in terms of their pitching, and they're not the worst in the SEC. They're 9th in the SEC in ERA. They've done a decent job there. Look at strikeouts. That has not been their forte. They're 13th, but they've done a good job when keeping guys off base. They're 5th in the SEC in WHIP. It's a decent pitching staff. They're terrible on offense, and they're not good on defense, and they're not good. Hopefully LSU takes care of them this weekend.
The Missouri Tigers.
Missouri, goodness, just not a great squad. You look at some of the offensive statistics, and they are towards the bottom and everything. They are 13th in average. You look at homers. They are 15th in home runs. You look at doubles, another stat that I really like to look at. They are dead last in the SEC. You look at OPS. They are second to last. Bad offense, bad staff, bad team. Going to need a new coach at the end of the year. That's Missouri at 60. I got Georgia at 1. That's new. Texas at 2. A&M at 3. Auburn at 4. Then you got the Ole Miss Rebels at 5. Mississippi State at 6. Florida at 7. Arkansas comes in at 8. Tennessee at 9. Bama at 10. Vandy at 11. Oklahoma at 12. Kentucky at 13. LSU at 14. South Carolina at 15. Missouri at 16. That is our look at the SEC Power Rankings. The thing I mentioned earlier, I've got Vanderbilt at 11. I've got Oklahoma at 12. And I've got Kentucky at 13, 11, 12, 13. That was LSU's early season slate. And you didn't handle your business. You got beat 2 out of 3 by Vanderbilt. You got beat 2 out of 3 by Oklahoma. And you held on for dear life and won a crazy game to win 2 out of 3 against Kentucky. You played the bottom of the league early. You needed to make hay. You didn't. And that's when A&M showed up on your schedule. That's when Ole Miss showed up on your schedule. That's when Tennessee and Mississippi State showed up on your schedule. Those teams are better. And you had to get to the South Carolina series afloat and then throw the throttle down, and you didn't. You didn't stay afloat. You got swept 3 times in a row. So, bummer. It's still, like, difficult for me to really wrap my head around it when I start talking about that stuff. I'm going to probably, as some sort of exercise, go back and listen to my Monday show after Jacksonville and listen to how stupid I sound. Like, candidly. I don't think it was out of place. I think everyone felt that way. The coaches LSU played in Jacksonville talked about how they're the best in the country. D1 baseball, perfect game. Baseball America, everybody has LSU in the top 3. It wasn't just me. I'm being hyperbolic. But, like, how we got to where I sit right now and the way we talk about this team from where they were after 2 weeks is just tough. It's tough. But here we are. Close up the show next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Lifetime Roofing, lifetimeroofingla.com, lifetimeroofingla.com. Lifetime Roofing does offer financing in 2 different ways. If you need to get a new roof put on, there's no insurance claim. You just need to get a new roof. Well, that's fine. They can finance it up to 18 months, 0%, same as cash. That's great. But maybe you've got a sizable deductible. You've got a sizable home, sizable roof, sizable deductible. That's what you decided to do with your homeowner's insurance. And so there's still a significant amount to pay when you get a new roof. They can finance the deductible as well. So they've got a team there that helps you do that. And when you get that new roof put on, it's got a lifetime workmanship warranty. That includes materials. They're backed by Certainteed, one of the oldest and most trusted names in building materials. I also want to remind you of this. Lifetime Roofing is not just roofing. Lifetime Roofing also can do professional installation of gutters, siding, and windows. So if you like to kind of do a facelift on your entire home, roof, siding, gutters, windows, the whole thing can be done by Lifetime Roofing, which is great to have to only deal with one contractor when you're doing an entire work up on your home. It's Lifetime Roofing. Find them online, lifetimeroofingla.com, lifetimeroofingla.com.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
At Parrish, we're built for tough players and tough roofs.
Coach is tough on us about preparation, and Parrish brings that same championship mindset.
Do business with someone you know. Parrish Construction and Roofing.
ParrishBuilt.com.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. No, the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinecenterla.com.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Ever wonder why cane sauce doesn't come in a pre-sealed packet? It's because it's made fresh inside every Raising Cane's every single day. Because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Wednesday show is brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools, online at builtbyrenaissance.com, builtbyrenaissance.com. I forgot to do this yesterday, Jordan.
Yes.
So I'm not home during the day a lot. I drop the kids off at school, and I come here, and I'm here during the day.
Yeah.
So that's when First Take is on. And yesterday I was meeting with someone at my house, so Alyssa took the kids to school, and I stayed home and got some work done. But I put ESPN in the background, and First Take came on. I don't know how anyone watches this show.
Yeah, it's not what it used to be 10 years ago. Not even close.
I was blown away. Now, keep in mind, I am fully aware of the irony here, where the man I'm talking about makes tens of millions of dollars, and I talk in the midday in Baton Rouge. Like, I'm completely aware of this irony. But I'm going to do, 15 seconds of what this show sounds like, and it's like this the whole time I was watching. And the fact that anyone would watch this blows my brain. This is Stephen A. Oh my goodness, you look at this blocker. This is a block. You got to go home to your dog. You got to go home to your woman. You got to go home and you got to go and get some love. I cannot believe it. And he never tones it down from that. It's like, who wants to listen to that for 2 hours? It was, I found myself, I stopped working. I looked at the television. I went, how could anyone watch this show? And again, this is a wildly successful man who's built a massive brand. He sounds like a carnival barker, like screaming at people.
Gotta hit his buzzwords. Blasphemy. Blasphemous.
I cannot believe anyone watches this television show. Clearly people do. They pay a lot of money for it. I'm not there to watch it, but like, it was amazing. I think there was a time when I was sports writing, and certainly when I was in college, when I watched some of this, and I never like loved the show. It was an 11, and then like Kendrick Perkins gets on there, and he's like a 2. So it's like you balance them out, you got a pair of 6s. But like Stephen A's just screaming and using these huge words, and like it's every point. Not for me.
No, I ain't gonna lie. I did like it with Skip and Stephen A. though. I did like those Tim Tebow days. Man, I would kill that. That was kind of the beginning of the end.
Well,
honestly.
Skip built a career on, okay, what does everyone in America think?
I'll go the opposite.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go that
You
way.
hate the Spurs? I love the Spurs.
Yeah.
You hate the Cowboys? I love the Spurs.
Yeah.
You think LeBron's awesome? He's
hate
not
LeBron.
that
Yeah.
good. You think Aaron Rodgers is good? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Like, it was his entire brand was like, what does everyone think? Well, I'll do the opposite of that.
Literally.
You don't think Tebow can play? Watch this.
I think he's the best.
It was his entire brand. Johnny Manziel, think he's too small, I bet he's awesome. It was just ridiculous, is what it is. All right, take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
All right, so former MLB shortstop Alexi Ramirez, who just made history for Cuba as the oldest player in World Baseball Classic history at 44 years old, he has tested positive for 4 different steroids. Ramirez only played 1 game for Cuba in the World Baseball Classic, striking out in his lone plate appearance.
Okay.
Juice to the gills for one last ride. Take it or leave it.
I'm going to take this one.
I'll take
if
it.
That's your only option.
That's it.
What are we looking at here? That's the only way you're going to get in there. All right. You're 21 and you're in the majors. I don't think it's a good idea. What is he, like
44?
44? Yeah. I mean, the only thing I remember about Alexi Ramirez, he played for the White Sox. He made the last play of Mark Burley's perfect game. And the voice of the White Sox, who I hate, Hulk Harrelson, because he hates the Cubs. I don't know Hulk, but he hates the Cubs, so I hate him. He just screamed, Alexei! Because he was trying to make the last play, and he said, yeah, got him. So Hulk Harrelson, who everybody likes, he says, he had all his catchphrases like, now I can't even remember. What did he used to say? He said, you can put it on the board, yes! That's kind of his deal.
Well, hopefully the White Sox can...
yeah, but he hates the Cubs, so I hate him.
Hey, man. Juice to the gills, baby.
Yep.
So, Cleveland Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson has the inside track to being named the starter for the 2026 season over Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah.
Watson, who missed the past year and a half from an Achilles tear in 2024, then re-tearing the Achilles in 2025. So,
injury prone.
yes, that is actually, that is, man, we should have talked about that. So, Deshaun Watson, QB1 week 1. Well, QB1 in week 1, take it or leave it.
Take it.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'll take it.
whatever.
Got
I don't know what's going on over there. It's a disaster no matter what.
The Browns.
I can tell you, whoever goes out there and takes the first snap, they're going to go out there. There's going to be a great defense on their sideline. They'll hold their opponent to 18 and they'll lose 18-7 because that's just what the Browns have done for like 3 years.
With like a missed kick or a block punt. So the NCAA Division I's men's and women's tournament are expanding to 76 teams. That means the 8 teams that would have qualified for the round of 64 will be now in the opening round. The big winners here are the power conferences that the teams that are around 500 that do poorly.
Well below 500.
Yeah, well below 500.
You got SEC teams getting in right now at 8 and 10 all the time.
Yeah, they said Auburn will be one, Oklahoma, Indiana. So is 76 teams the right move to make? Take it or leave it.
Leave it. This is one of the few things.
Yes.
There's so few things that unite us as one in the world today. I was on Twitter yesterday, not a one person going, oh, this is great.
Yeah,
Everyone's
nobody.
like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
You're letting in a bunch of more bad teams that couldn't win their league games, that finished
Just to
7
make
and
money.
11 in league games just to beef up television ratings. It's just we have done so many things in sports solely for cash that are just not great. And this is one of them. It's just nobody cares to watch Oklahoma play any more basketball games last year.
No.
They were not good.
On an Auburn team.
No. I mean, no. And so it's just it'll probably put LSU in the tournament more often. Not with one player. You're going to have one more than one player. You're going to need more than one. But, I mean, it'll probably put LSU in. But nobody needs this. It was fine at 64. I didn't even need them going to 65, much less 68.
Yeah.
I didn't need the Dayton thing. Don't care. Don't need it. Start everybody on Thursday. Play the music on Thursday. Let's play some basketball. But we can't do that because we got to get more money.
Yeah, no, this is – I don't know how 76 teams makes any sense, but that's it for take it or leave it.
College baseball, college athletic programs are always dying for money. When the kid hit the grand slam against LSU on Saturday, that night, Mississippi State went and grabbed the bases, got the 3 base runners and the guy that hit the grand slam, signed it, auctioned them off for $1,000 a piece. Ooh, they made $3,000. Any way we can find money, we'll do it.
LSU pays the bills.
That's it. That's it for our Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. If you missed any of it, catch it on demand. Hunt on LSU, Hunt on Saints, where you can find all of our stuff. Matt's going to drive you home next on After Further View. We're back tomorrow, same time, same place for the Thursday edition.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
I'll tell you my friends over at Auctioner. Of course, we had an opportunity to chat with Dr. Bankhead of Auctioner earlier on today. They want to remind you that there are 3 different avenues for care, and you need to make sure that you're headed to the right place. So visit their symptom checker online at auctioner.org/findcare. If you're looking for primary care, that's your comprehensive and continuous care, rashes, skin irritations, headaches, lower back pain, or even your immunizations, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, that kind of stuff. You can do virtual visits online as well. You can schedule at auctioner.org/brprimary. Urgent care is just that. It's more urgent. You're talking about common illnesses, minor injuries, sprains, broken bones, earaches, minor burns, rashes, skin irritations. They're happy to take walk-ins. They've got extended hours, and you can find a location at auctioner.org/urgent care. Emergency care is severe. It's light-threatening. Chest pain, bleeding, severe head trauma, severe allergic reaction, all that you need to get to an ER or call 911 immediately. That's all from our friends at Auctioner.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
Raising Cane's Texas Toast is a thick slice of bread, garlic buttered spread, grilled to golden perfection, and made to order just for you. Because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton